Have you ever given up on something because it seemed crazy or maybe unrealistic? Or maybe you started to try things, but things got hard and then you decided to give up. Well, my 2-year-old nephew taught me a valuable lesson about getting what you want in life just the other day. It was Easter Sunday, and as we like to do, eat chocolate, right? And this 2-year-old is running around because he wants chocolate. Now, like any kid, right? Once you get the taste for something, you want more. And so he's running around trying to get more chocolate, but he doesn't know where it is or how to get hold of it. And till he looks up and he sees me reaching up onto the table to grab some chocolate. And then his eyes locked in. He saw where the source of his chocolate treats would be. And then the next thing you know, he comes in for a hug. And I was like, oh, this is really sweet. He's reaching up with his little hands to come in for a hug. So I pick him up, I lock him in, and little did I realize it was so that he could just be a little bit closer to the chocolate. So he then reaches his hand forward, tries to grab the chocolates, and I pull him back. And so put him back down on the floor. Next thing you know, he runs off. He comes back in, and because he knows where the chocolates are, he now tries to stretch his little hands over the table, and he's like reaching, and there's a few inches away just from his hands. So I push the chocolates back that little bit more. He runs off. He comes back in. Next thing you know, he's climbing up my legs to try and get on the table to reach the chocolates. So I move away. He climbs up me. He doesn't get anywhere. He runs off. He comes back in. He sees the other side of the table, which is about 6 inches away, 6 meters away. He then, about 2 meters away, not 6 meters, about 6 foot away. He then climbs up a chair to then get on the other side of the table and tries to come across the table from the other direction. He gets pulled off the table, back to the floor, and he's now kind of screaming and whining and moaning because he wants more chocolate, right? Once you get that taste, you're just craving more. And so he then comes back in. He starts going through the cupboards and he pulls out some pots and pans, and he finds this big pot that he then pulls out. He places it upside down so that he can stand on the pot. So he brings the pot right next to the table. It gives him about another foot. So he puts the pot right in front of the table. He stands on the pot. He reaches up. He's about literally a couple inches from grabbing the box of chocolates. I push it right back to the middle of the table. He then grabs the pot. He runs to the other side of the table. He tries his luck on the other side. He runs around the table. He's trying and constantly trying to get this chocolate. And this goes on for about 3.5 hours, constantly coming into the kitchen, trying to reach for the chocolate, trying everything he can, until eventually we all just gave in and handed him a chocolate. And it was in that moment that he ate the chocolate with a big smile on his face. And just when you thought, that's it, he comes back and he asks for another one. He wants another one. And so the moral of this story is, what persists will continue to exist. And just like my nephew who didn't give up, he kept trying his luck to get that chocolate. And as hard as it was for him to reach up on the table with his little hands, and as much as he tried everything he could possibly try, he didn't give up. He persisted until he eventually got what he wanted. And I want to share this with you today because it really gave me a perspective on life and certainly some things that I've struggled with in starting my online business. Going back about 7 years ago, I launched my first ebook, and it failed miserably because I just didn't know how to market or sell or do anything beyond just creating an amazing product. And even though it failed, I got back up and I tried again. I then launched a membership site. I then launched another ebook. I then launched a coaching program and another program. And it took me around 5 years of persisting and failing before I actually had success and launched a coaching business that grew to multiple 6 figures and helped hundreds of people around the world. But if I had given up at that first moment that I tried, I would never have done anything more than I tried. And I would have never have helped the people that I've helped, and I would have never have been where I am today. And the one thing that got me here was persistence. And just like my nephew, my 2-year-old nephew, who was running around trying everything he can to try and get chocolate, I want to share this with you to encourage you that if there's something that isn't working out for you right now, if there's something that you're feeling like it's not working, maybe you just launched your fitness coaching business online and you're not getting the traction, or maybe you've been getting on calls with people and they are rejecting you and they're saying they can't afford it or they're not interested right now. Maybe you're feeling that pain. And this is certainly something that I experience every week. I talk with my coaching students inside the academy. And one of the biggest struggles is dealing with rejection and setbacks. But the lesson here is to persist, because what persists will continue to exist. And through that persistence, you will eventually get there. You will eventually get that breakthrough. And just like my nephew, you will get that chocolate, that metaphorical chocolate that you were trying to get in your life. So wanted to share this with you today because it's a really powerful lesson that you can learn from a 2-year-old or any kid for that matter, who will always keep trying until they get what they want. That's just the way kids are. But something happens as we get older and we forget to persist. We forget to keep trying and we give up so much easier, maybe because of fear of judgment or rejection or fear of embarrassment. But whatever the reason is, we have to let it go. Because if we do not persist, if we don't keep trying, then we will not get what we want. And then we'll have to settle for a life of mediocrity and misery. Because that's really what's on the other side of not trying and failing. So that's all I got for you today. I hope this lesson from my 2-year-old nephew, Mario, encourages you to persist on whatever it is that you're trying to do. And maybe when he's old enough, I'll actually bring him on the live and he can talk to you. But he's not actually old enough yet to talk, well, string sentences together anyway. But I'm sure when he watches this back some years from now, it will hopefully encourage him as well. If there's something that he's struggling with in his life or something that he's trying to do, but it's not working out, he listens to this and reminds himself that what will persist will exist. And eventually you will inevitably get what you want. And that's just the way things go in life. And I believe that's just a valuable lesson. So if you have any comments, drop them in the chat below. I'd love to dive back in after these live sessions and see what questions or what comments you guys have. So just comment below and share this out. If this story, if this lesson was valuable for you and you think somebody in your network, your friends, your family would value from hearing what I've just shared today, just hit the share button wherever you are and share it with your people. Share it and tag me, of course, and use the hashtag live, daily live, so I know who shared this and where you shared it. But that's what I got. Just a quick one today. Keep being good, keep pushing, whatever struggles you're facing, just never give up. That's the message for today. See you tomorrow. Have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you in the comments.